from Southern California. Today we are completing our month of creating sacred space in our homes and within ourselves. And I just wanted to introduce us. I'm Robin Castro. This is my husband, Michael. And together we own a couple of companies. One is Vastu Creations, where we sell products and offer services focused on the science of Vastu Shastra, which is the science of harmonious living and reducing environmental stress. And we offer readings on to balance the home environment and to look at your Vedic astrology and lots of different products. And what else do we do? A lot of stuff. The first thing we're going to do today is look at the astrology of the week. We have our two puppies here, so if one of them starts barking, sorry about that. They just don't take cues from us at all anymore. So we just, we're at the effect. They're kind of the leaders of the pack. So today we're going to do the astrology. We're going to look at planetary yantras and how they can help protect your health and happiness and much more, and also present some new technology that we've developed to support you to fine-tune the environment and eliminate the stress that comes from different things, including the new 5G that's here in the US, and also 4G, and the electromagnetic frequencies that are bombarding our planet for satellites, and also earth energies that are affecting you every day. So here we go, Michael. Take it away.
So yeah, just to talk a little bit about the planets this week. For those of you who didn't join us for our full moon ceremony on Saturday, yesterday was the full moon, and it was a full moon using sidereal zodiac, Vedic astrology. If you were to ask an astronomer actually where the planets were yesterday, he would be using sidereal zodiac, and that's what we use. Western astrology uses the tropical zodiac based on the seasons, and it's really based on where the planets were 2,000 years ago. So we feel, and I just, in doing readings over the last 40 years, I just found the Vedic astrology much more accurate in predicting and helping people. So using the sidereal zodiac, so the full moon was in Virgo, and Virgo is all about health and healing, and it brings a kind of a feminine, nurturing energy. Compassion, intuition is high this month. And it can also engage the critical part of our mind, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is that part of our intellect that discriminates, and we can either use it to pick things apart, criticize ourselves and other people, or we can use that part of the mind to bring things together, to unite. So I really encourage everyone to take advantage of that energy to bring things together. We always have a choice. We can either be in fear, or we can choose love. And so many of us, with all the uncertainties of the COVID crisis and the economy, there's a lot of fear out there, and just listening to the news, we can really get attached to that fearful, anxious kind of feeling. But we always do have that choice to choose love. This new energy that the moon is bringing in is for optimism. We have the vaccines. We have ways to help people who have already got COVID. So the future is looking much brighter. Now, what else is going on? So also this weekend we had Rahu and Mars conjunct. Rahu is a planetary node in the moon, an eclipse point, and whenever they come together, which is like every 2 years, Mars and Rahu, they create even more anxiety and fear, and also possibility of accidents, possibility of arguments. So, just be a little aware of, that kind of anxious feeling in the air, and avoid arguments if you can. Um, and that energy is going to carry on for probably another week. So just be aware, be a little more cautious and patient with yourself and other people. The other thing that's happening is Venus is combust the sun. Now that's going to end in a few days. They'll start to pull apart, and we won't feel that sense of overwhelm. Whenever a planet gets very, very close to the sun, within 5 degrees or around 5 degrees, it burns out that planet, and it makes that planet weak. And Venus is the planet of relationships. So again, we can feel overwhelmed or stressed out in our relationships. There's that tendency to want to argue, but just having this awareness of it, avoid the arguments, try to get along with each other, and know that this is very temporary. This energy is going to pass in a few days. So those are the main points of where the planets are this week.
Okay, so like I said before, this week we're really focusing on a different aspect of Vastu. We're talking about geopathic stress that comes from satellites, 3G, 4G, 5G, smart meters, computers, phones, but also we're going to begin with Michael's going to introduce some ancient practices. He's going to explain them, because I think a lot of people get somewhat confused about the different kinds of practices that they utilize for enlivening the energy in an environment, or even there's this beautiful ceremonies that they do, homas and yagyas, and how these things are used. So there's homas and there's yagyas. Is there anything else that involves like ceremonies that we've experienced or that can influence other people?
So all these ceremonies that Robin mentioned, yagyas, they can also be called pujas and homas. Homas is referring to a ceremony that you perform when you move into a new house, to purify the energy of that house and enliven the Vastu Purusha, the soul of the house. And yagyas are done for all kinds of different situations. If you are having some healing crisis, there are planetary yagyas to support your health and healing. There are yagyas to attract a mate or to create more harmony in your relationship. It just depends. There, everything under the sun that you can think of, every situation, legal troubles, financial troubles. There are these ceremonies that can be performed that are very, very powerful, that elicit the planets to support whatever area of life that you're feeling challenged in.
And I just want to say one thing, because I know that over the years we've had lots of different ceremonies like this done for different things that we were going through or our children were going through. I remember when Anna was looking for work, or when she was making a move and needed help, and you looked at her chart and saw some imbalances and knew that was going to go on a little bit longer than she would have liked it, that you actually contacted a priest in India to do a ceremony, and things it kind of helps speed things up and move things in a more positive direction. So we know people who do these things, and I think you have over the years found people who were really pretty reasonably priced. So if you're going through anything that feels insurmountable, and you need a little boost of support, that's what we're here for. Just contact us, and we'll we'll figure this out for you. So we don't want to just tell you about these things. We just really want to make sure that you know that you can come to us with these things, and we can do everything that we can, and then also find support for you for these really hard times that you go through.
But what we found with our clients and friends is starting with your own altar.
Yeah.
Basically, these yagas and pujas and homas are all based on everything that your altar is based on. It's all about using the five elements, balancing the five elements, offering the five elements to the divine to gain that support of nature in whatever area of your life. And so we have these beautiful altars from our Altars of Power and Grace book that my beautiful wife, brilliant wife, wrote. And so we have these altars for any different area of your life, your health, your finances, your career, your relationships. Support from friends and family, transformation altar.
That's this one here that we've got up this month, because this is really a month of a lot of changes for people. We're moving into a whole new energy coming up, as Michael said. But this month is a little bumpy. I think April is kind of bumpy. So good, and kind of some of it is going to be a little challenging. So we want. I'm going to review how we're going to move into this next month of offerings, and see which altar we're going to set up to support that energy that we really want support for.
So basically, again, all of these different ceremonies we're talking about are based on the same thing: offering something representing earth, something representing fire, something representing water, something representing air. To the divine, and which is here represented by the space element. So, and here you can see that we have some devices actually that we're offering to the divine. And Robin was talking about earth energies, or we call it geopathic stress. In the Vedas, thousands of years ago, they talked about underground streams, underground channels, and fault lines, and how they might affect our physiology and our environment. And now in modern times, we have EMFs created by the 5G, the 4G, electromagnetic frequencies that bombard us. We are electromagnetic beings living in a sea of electromagnetic energy. And that electromagnetic energy is increasing with the new technologies day by day. And so we're sitting here in our office, and we look out the window and we see a Boys and Girls Club that's right across the street. And I noticed they were building something, and it was going on month after month on the roof. I thought they were maybe adding another story or something, because it was a pretty involved process. And up until that time, we have a certain 5G or certain electromagnetic protectors we're going to talk about in our house, and they were working really well. And then we noticed when the work was completed on this addition on the roof to this building across the street, that we started noticing our sleep was a little bit disturbed. Robin would occasionally wake up with a headache. So we just noticed something shifted, and so I started asking the people across the street, what did they add on Earth? And it was a 5G transformer. And so the thing about 5G is, and I have so many clients around the world, they say, I noticed this new thing they added on the telephone pole across the street or down the street, this new blocks that they put in. So 5G only works when it's very close to you, whereas the 4G and the 3G, they can be, they had towers, but they weren't as close to your house as the 5G is. And where all this is going is you're not going to need a router in your house to get on the internet anymore. They're going to actually add even more of these transformers that are even closer and closer to your house. So a lot of us are very electromagnetic energy sensitive, And so all kinds of um, studies have been done that linked these EMF frequencies to ADHD, tendinitis, insomnia, autism, cancer, mental illnesses, depression, Alzheimer's, dementia, brain fog, ability to not be able to focus and be productive. It basically what it does is that in the studies that I've been involved in is where they'll take a blood sample and you'll go in an electric car or you stand in front of a smart meter and then they for maybe 5 minutes and then they'll take a new blood sample and what they show is in these blood samples the cells were separated in your blood sample before and then after you stand in front of the smart meter or any of these EMF producing devices, that they start to clump together. So basically, it fragments your DNA. The cells start to clump together, and these are the signs of, cancer or disrupting of your nervous system, your immune system. Really, what it really affects is the immune system. Autoimmune diseases are also linked to these EMFs. So we started to work on what we could do to amp up our products to be able to protect people, including ourselves, from the 5G. And so after we developed these products and tested them for ourselves first and then our clients, and actually we had some studies done on them as well, we found that they really worked. What it is here's the whole house EMF plug, and also we have a USB version that actually just plugs right into an adapter that you can plug in the wall, and
Can't see it, Mike.
And it can also be used in Europe as well, where you don't have the standard plug.
But you can also put this one in your car,
Yes.
which is great, and they come with paramagnetic material inside, and they have the Sri Yantra, which we've talked about before. The Sri Yantra is the abundance in all things, right?
Yes.
Success and abundance. The Sri Yantra is the symbol for Lakshmi, which is the goddess of abundance and prosperity and beauty and success and fertility and joy and happiness and all divine feminine qualities, the positive ones that we all love. So this one plugs into one of these that we use for our iPhones or cell phones and computers. It plugs right in, and that plugs into your house, right?
Right.
And then the other way you use it is most fairly newer cars, I would say in the last, 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
have little USB ports now, so you can plug in your phones, and that plugs directly into the phone. And this one
Plugs into the
the car
outlet in the
outlet,
car.
and this one plugs into your wall. In the U.S., we have these 3 prongs, but they don't have them like this in Europe. They look totally different. So this one is just for the U.S., and I'm gonna hold that one. And this one can be used in the cars in the U.S. and Europe, but also for European households or Australian or anything outside the U.S. Basically, this one is universal because we all have our phones and they all plug in the same way.
Plug into an adapter that's set up for whatever type of outlet that you have, if you're in Europe or France or England or Canada or Australia. So basically what these do is they retune the wiring in your house. It takes about 2 or 3 days and for you to notice the difference, but it retunes the wiring in your house to set up a protective shield that protects you and your family from the 5G outside, as well as we have devices that on our website that you can, it's a little patch that you can put on your cell phone. All of these contain paramagnetic material, as Robin was saying. And the studies have shown that the paramagnetic material that's infused with homeopathics, it Basically, what it does is it neutralizes the EMFs. It converts them into um, a not a so it converts them into a coherent wave. Before, what happens with the EMFs? These are incoherent waves that disrupt our nervous system, our immune system, etc., our sleep, and then it converts them into a coherent wave that the body can handle. So when you use a meter to see if, oh, does this reduce the EMFs in your cell phone or whatever, it won't show that. It doesn't absorb the EMFs or reduce them. It converts them into something that the body can handle. And if you are blocking, if you're buying a device that actually blocks the EMFs, what you're going to do is we're going to reduce your Wi-Fi capacity for your cell phone and your computer, and that's not what we want. We love our devices. We want them to work well, so we don't want to block them or reduce their ability to function. We want to convert them into a coherent wave that the body can handle, and that's exactly what these studies have done. And these studies have been peer-reviewed and shown time and time again that this really works.
So today, starting today, in fact, it will come out right after Mantra Mondays. There'll be a mailing for all of our clients and friends coming from Vastu Creations. We're having a special, and you can buy either one of these for 25% off, which is pretty much usually the top of what we do. I mean, that's more than what we normally offer. Usually our offers go as high as 20%, but not 25%. But when you bundle them, when you buy them together, I believe it goes all the way up to 30, 35, 40% off, depending on how many you buy. So it's a really good deal, and it's probably what are we coming up to now? April, May. It's an Easter present or a Mother's Day gift or a Father's Day gift. It's really, think of things that you give people that seem to be things that they don't use, but this is something they will always use and always benefit from. And we're really excited about these two items because we've offered them before, but not at this deep discount. So we're excited to do this. Michael is quite the little scientist developer. So he comes up with these things when there's the need, and there's definitely the need right now, right?
Right.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and Michael is going to go through, and we'll talk a little bit more about those afterwards, but after we go through our chanting and all that, and we're going to do a little meditation at the end, and then we'll go through this again and talk a little bit about it. But there is a couple of things I wanted to make sure that you do. He is going to go through. This is like when he sets up a Vastu, when he does a consultation for somebody for their home or their workspace. What he does is that he looks at your floor plan and he writes a report, and then he sends you these great little energy devices that you place around the environment, and then he teaches you several different chants to connect each of these little devices, these planetary yantras. And these yantras have a frequency, and I kind of see it energetically this way. They each have a frequency to balance the area that they're in directionally, but then it's almost like you're igniting an altar, but you're basically chanting all these mantras, and they begin talking to each other. So you have this incredible conversation going between the 8 planets and more, because there's more yantras that usually go in with this package that he sends you. And then he you know, when you chant the mantras, it's like your home takes on an enliven quality. It's and I always say to people, whenever Mike does their Vastu, go outside, count to 10, like shut the door on the outside. You're on the outside. Count to 10 and then go back in, and you will start feeling there's a more of like a pristine quality in the environment. It's almost as if you're walking towards a waterfall, and that fresh energy, it's almost like the negative ions that you get from when you're at the beach or when you're at a waterfall. It's totally different than if you're like riding in a subway or you're running through an airport, and there's just a lot of dull energy. It's really an enlivened quality of energy. And so it's very exciting. So he's going to chant the planetary mantras. Because the other thing that he does sometimes for people, he does the report, he'll send them the yantras and all the little recommendations and everything that they need. And then they may not feel so confident. So they set up an appointment time, which is a little bit of an extra charge. And then he walks them through the placement of the yantras. And then he does the chanting, like he's going to do now. He'll do that chanting and some blessings. So it's a little bit more of a boost, I would say, because you've got Michael, who's kind of like, I don't know, a lot of people see him as kind of like a Hindu priest, but not Hindu, but a priest who has that extra little boost of energy because he's been doing this his entire adult life. So here we're going to do these mantras, and then we'll talk a little bit about the altar again.
So just wanted to explain a little bit. We were talking about the pujas and yagas and homas. So all of our products, including the EMF products, we have energized by doing a sacred ceremony or blessing that's infused into the products. So whatever you get from us, whether it's the planetary yantras for the house, or the EMF products, or the yantras that you buy individually, they all have been energized with this blessing or puja ceremony. So we're going to do a little bit of alternate nostril breathing that we learned on one of the very first Mantra Mondays, I think. And we're going to utilize a mudra. Today's mudra is basically you tuck your fingers into your palms and your thumbs will be up. And that can be just placed on your on your knees. And what this does is it brings the energy up the spine. So we'll do a little bit of the alternate nostril breathing.
Before we do that, I'd like to just go through the altar.
Sure.
And then we'll do all this. Because what I would like to do is like go through all of this, because once we start doing the breathing and the mudras and chant, we go right into chanting the mantras. And then Michael is going to, he'll chant the last mantra and then go into a little meditation. And then we can talk more about all of this on the other side of that.
Sure.
So this month we have the transformation altar up. And we'll start with the air element. The air element is in the northwest. This month, this altar is usually put up in the southeast area of your home or workspace. It can be the southeast area of a room or the southeast area of the home itself. And the air element, which we have here, and before we start chanting, I'm going to put out the incense because it tends to blow right in our faces, which is not fun. But I thought I would just go through this process with everything lit and ready to go, and we can just do a little bit of an igniting ceremony, but not a big one. That's that. So it's the idea that when I look at this altar, it's a homing device. And imagine the center being the birthing of everything that comes into physical reality and everything that returns to spirit. So it is like this, the main frequency energy that connects you to the divine comes through the space element. So a subtle thought comes out of that space and becomes this frequency that we connect to on a very subtle level, which is the air element. Just imagine the wind gently caressing your face or your body, and you really feel that energy. But it's so subtle, you don't have an indicator of what that energy becomes. But there is a desire there. There is a desire, and that's takes place in the level of the air element. And then it comes into the water element, which that the air element is in the northwest, the water element is in the northeast. And that is the gestation of that subtle thought, that desire. Then it goes into the fire element in the southeast, and that is like where the spark of passion and consciousness and desire to bring something into physical form begins. And then it goes into into the earth element, which is in the southwest, and that is where things ground into physical reality. And then the dance again goes back into the space element where all things come from and return to. And just imagine this as a three-dimensional spiral going in towards the creation and manifestation, and then from thought into form, and from form into thought. And it's just this constant evolving spiral back and forth, thought into form and form into thought. Behind the space element is your personal symbol. This month we've used Ganesh, and we have Ganesh here, this beautiful painting by our friend Scott Haig, who's actually going to take this painting and make reproductions of it for you guys at a really reduced rate than what we ended up paying for the original. But I'm very excited to share this with you because I know a lot of you have talked about how much you love the painting, and he will enliven the qualities of Ganesh, which are support and protection and wisdom. I see that energy as almost like your bodyguard. He's always at your shoulder, kind of out of sight, but always protecting you. It's a really wonderful energy to have in your home, and it like everything we do, there's always this frequency, and Ganesh brings so much love and acceptance along with the protection. So that is how the altar works. The color on this altar, the main color is silver, or the metal is silver, and the main color is like the reds and the pinks and the corals, which are like my favorite colors, as you can tell. So we have this altar put up for this month, and probably a new altar coming up next month. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to take these out. And, oh, that's really clever of you. Now we're going to, Michael is going to take us into, going to do Mudra as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to start with the alternate nostril breathing. And remember, basically what you do is you put your middle finger and your forefinger on your forehead, your third eye.
On your right hand.
Right, using your right hand. And you place your thumb on your right nostril and close it off. And you breathe out the left nostril and in the left nostril. And then you use your pinky finger and your ring finger to close off your left nostril. And you breathe out the right nostril and in the right nostril. And then close off your right nostril with your thumb and breathe out the left nostril and in the left nostril. So basically we're just going back and forth. Breathing out and in each nostril, in each side. So let's just do it together. Just relax the hands, place them palms face up on your knees, and bring your hands into that mudra I was just talking about. Tuck your fingers into your palm and your thumb sticking straight up. And so I'm going to do this chanting, and you can just do some long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. As you breathe in, the energy comes up, and as you breathe out, the energy goes down. So just back and forth, long, slow, deep breaths as I chant. And so I'm going to be chanting the planetary yantras. Each planet is associated with a specific direction. Starting with northwest is the moon energy, and then you will move to the north, moon energy connected with relationships, and then we'll move to the north. That'll be the Mercury energy connected with prosperity, and then we'll move to the northeast. That's the Jupiter energy connected with spiritual growth, and then we move to the east, and that's the sun energy connected with your health. And then we'll move to the southeast. That's the Venus energy, also associated with relationships and transformation, like this altar. And then we'll move to the south. That's that Mars energy, the energy of passion. And then we'll move to the southwest. That'll be the Rahu energy, the eclipse point that is associated with support and career. And then lastly, we'll move to the west, which is the Saturn energy that gives us discipline and creativity. And just keep taking long, slow, deep breaths, feeling the energy moving up and down the spine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Buddhadevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vamanadevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Parasuramaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Varadevaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Kurmadevaya Namaha. And we'll end with the space element or the Vastu Purusha. Om Maha Bhagavataya Vastupurushaya Namaha. I'm just going to lead you into a very short meditation. Take a deep breath in and let all the cares of the day go as you breathe out. Now fill your heart as you breathe in. Fill your heart with all positive, prosperous, joyful energy. And hold it. And as you breathe out, let go of any fear, doubt, or grief. And now just think of anything in your life that you want healed. Relationships, past and present. Your physical body, your health, and the health of your family. And the growth of your life purpose, what you came here to do, your career. And the growth of your prosperity and your family's prosperity. And one more time, take a deep breath in and hold it. And as you breathe out, just surrender all those intentions to the divine. And you can just keep your eyes closed. Robin's going to chant the healing mantra, the creativity mantra, and I'll chant the Vastu Purusha mantra, and we'll chant the Ganesh mantra as well.
Ayambagam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivartanam Urvarukamiva bantana Mrutyor mukshi amamrutat Om Saraswati Devye Namaha Om Saraswati Devye Namaha Om Saraswati Devye Namaha
Om Namo Bhagavate Vastupurushaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vastupurushaya Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vastupurushaya Namaha. Om Ganganapatiye 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 Namaha.
Sorry about that. You're gonna, you want me to do, talk about the other pieces, or you want to talk about any of that? Okay. So I'd love it, and I hope that was good for you. I'm sorry we ended up getting a phone call right in the middle of that, which was really strange. So it paused for a minute. But I hope that that affected your physiology in a good way, and you're feeling a little bit smoother and ready for the week. I just wanted to, I have a few announcements to please send, if any of you put together your full moon altar for the full moon this weekend and haven't taken it down yet, we'd love to see pictures of that. So if you post them on Instagram and just tag us at Vastu Creations, or you could send us pictures and we'll post them on our I don't really know how it's on our stories. I guess that's what you say. Just it would be wonderful. And also, if you're having experiences that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear about them. And some of those we'll put little quotes in our as testimonials. The specials that are available through Wednesday, because I think Thursday is the 1st. We have the 3 specials still at 20% off. Michael's yearly astrology reading and the Vastu consultation for your home or workspace, or the Vastu Purusha Yantra here, all at 20% off. And that's through Wednesday using code renewal. The new offerings for both the whole house 3-prong plug and the what is this called? The USB plug. That's what it's called. Will be coming out right after we're done here. We'll be sending that out. And so if you're signed up for our mailings, you'll be getting that automatically. And if you are not, on our email list, just go to vastucreations.com and sign up for our newsletters. and you'll be able to get that offering. And I believe it will also be a link in Instagram for those of you who um, are on Instagram regularly. It's just a link in our bio. So next week we are going to be beginning our month of rebirth, and we would really appreciate you spreading the word, and we hope that this has set the tone for the beginning of your week and that you have an extra wonderful, smooth going week. I think the energy that built up to the full moon is now just waning a little bit, so maybe we're not all feeling as intense and as stressed out as we did over the weekend. So we wish you all the very, very best, and thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate your feedback. And if you are on Facebook, love to hear where you're from. So if you could just please add that, that would be wonderful. I know we have people tuning in from all over the world, and it just thrills us to know that you trust us and enjoy us enough to take your time to spend with us. So have a great week. Thank you again. Bye.
Namaste.